Welcome back, everyone, to episode 15 of the CLG Faithful podcast. Yeah, I'm your host, Nefarious, and we got a great show for you this week. Joining me, as always, my usual co-host.
Hey guys, I'm Artrin.
What's up, man? Had a good week so far?
Not a whole lot. Yeah, it has been a good week. It's been a pretty decent CLG week.
Yeah, there's been a ton of stuff that's been happening right now. Now, starting things off, CLG actually has a brand new sponsor. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, so the brand new sponsor is 5 Hour Energy. They are one of those kind of energy drink companies. You've seen their little bottles in the store shelves and stuff like that. And what's kind of cool about this is that they're a brand new sponsor to esports in general. Mm-hmm. So we're not looking at, like Monster or anything like that, or Mountain Dew.
Or Red Bull.
This is a company that is, or Red Bull, exactly. This is a company that has never really sponsored an esports team, at least at this size, as CLG. So that's really awesome to see. They're also doing a giveaway on the Counterlogic Gaming Twitter. You can go check there. It is only available in the United States of America. I believe the continental US as well. So just for that, Canada, Europe, all that stuff, not available, unfortunately. But if you're in the US, go ahead.
I saw your little sad face tweet.
Yeah, I'm Canadian, just right across the border in Vancouver, and I tried as not even at Canada. Come on, Hotshot, give us Canadians some love. But again, it's probably out of his control.
Yeah. But anyways, let's move on to League of Legends. And yes, we have actual League of Legends news this week. And
right? Woohoo, League! Oh, wait.
Yeah, start things off, man. Xmithie, our beloved jungler, is no longer a member of the CLG family.
Yeah, he's moved. So essentially what happened is Xmithie is going to Team Immortals. And,
but
it feels bad, man.
Immortals has a jungler. They've got Dardoch.
They do. They have Dardoch. But they also happen to send Dardoch over to us. Mm-hmm. So CLG, Dardoch, and then it's going to be Immortals Xmithie. And, I see that Dardoch is a straight upgrade from Xmithie. But the thing is Xmithie's been here so long, 2 years, MSI, 2016, 2016 spring split winners.
I'll be the first to admit that I do have my reservations about Dardoch. He has a very strong personality, let's say.
Yeah,
he can be very frank and outspoken. And he was also Immortals' star player. He won the most Player of the Game awards from Riot out of any other player.
He did.
And the fact that Immortals is willing to trade him away after one split in his 3-year contract says a lot about him.
Yeah.
Now
and to take Xmithie for him, who, Xmithie, we all know him as the Smite Master, the Fat Man Master. He is ridiculous. He's a very even trade based on what you're looking for in the team.
Let's be honest here, definitely though. He did not have the best of splits. And he was probably one of the most criticized. And you know what? Somewhat rightfully so, given his performance.
Exactly.
But again, I guess I have my reservations about Dardoch, but he is a new member of the CLG family, and he deserves the chance to prove himself.
Exactly. We all loved Doublelift before he left, but everyone agreed, after he left, he had a bit of an attitude so to say. So it's one of those things where you can't say that someone's not going to do a full 180 or even just kind of be completely different on the team.
Yeah,
so, everyone, please give Dardoch a chance. Mm-hmm. You got to give him at least one split.
Absolutely. Doublelift, once he was kicked from CLG, you can see a noticeable difference in his attitude on TSM. And Here's hoping that Dardoch can continue to improve, not only as a player, but as a person. And you know what? I believe that he can. If the CLG org believes he can, I don't see Zixlaw, the league coach, I don't see him taking shit from anyone. I don't see Aftermoon taking shit from anyone. And here's the thing, it's a gambit, right? Because the league team did not do very well during playoffs. And if they want to have any hope of making Worlds, they need to do well in playoffs this year, and most likely they need to win it.
Yeah,
or go
I
through
think
the.
so.
They have to win it or go through the gauntlet.
We have to come in top 4, I think, in the coming summer split, and I think we have to get into the semifinals minimum of the playoffs. Minimum.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Dardoch gives us a very potentially explosive early game. We know he's a playmaker. We know he's an insane mechanical talent, and he's native NA talent as well.
Yes.
So it's a gambit, you know. If it doesn't work out, well, Omar Guard is waiting in the CLG Black team, and he could potentially be given a chance.
And that's exactly why we have it.
But if it does work out, this could be the move that propels CLG to win first place. And given that this team is taking it very seriously, they just started their boot camp. It's a 2-week boot camp before the split. I have high expectations for them.
Yeah, me as well. So here's hoping that CLG Dardoch.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family, man, because that's exactly what CLG is. And let's see you kick some ass.
Yeah, but you know, let's think back to just some of the Xmithie's finest moments. You know,
absolutely. I mean, you can just
his Gragas games.
Exactly.
All of them.
All of his Gragas games basically put Xmithie playing Rengar. No. Play Gragas. Yeah, Gragas. Yeah, Gragas.
You remember that game against TSM during the split with Doublelift where we finally won NA, and he uses the explosive cast in a team fight near the bot lane on red side, and the Doublelift and that removed the 2 sole survivors, the CLG rush hour bot lane. The Doublelift gets a pentakill.
The pentakill. Or how about the Udyr Smite steal against Immortals to help give Immortals their first loss of the split?
Man,
that was
amazing.
Fantastic.
And the best part is, all the stuff with Trick 2G coming out. Like, the Gates analyst, Xmithie playing Udyr. They did the 1-3-1, and of course, Darshan on the Fiora.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
the delicious Darshan Fiora.
The split push, and people whining, complaining. Can't keep getting away with it.
Yep.
Or the next split.
Yeah, against TSM and the Jungle Echo during the finals. Like, that was ridiculous.
But you know what? Of course, there is one moment that will always stand out to me. And I think you know what it is.
Absolutely. The MSI moment against RNG.
On Kindred.
Xmithie on Kindred hops over the Drake pit, jumps in. MLXG is there on his freaking niddly.
And they're getting the 5th Drake too.
5th Drake, yeah. Xmithie, boom, Kindred ultimate. MLXG next uses his pounce. Then he smites. He's like, why didn't Drake die? Oh, Drake just healed. Did Xmithie just use Kindred ultimate to make the Drake immune to damage below 30%? And then it heals back up, and then they take Drake because we don't have Smite? Are you kidding me? It's like, it completely blew everyone's mind. Even the casters didn't see it coming until after they saw the replay. They're like, wait, Xmithie used Kindred ultimate. What the heck?
Man, MSI. What a good time. Speaking of MSI, remember when NA sent a good team to MSI? I remember. That was last MSI when CLG went. What happened this year? Yeah, well, as an NA fan, fuck TSM. As a CLG fan, TSM.
Yes, exactly.
It feels both good and bad.
It does. It feels great because as a CLG fan, I love watching TSM lose, especially internationally.
Brother Sven. In Sven.
Yeah. As an NA fan, though, I mean, come on, TSM, show your best. Don't do that.
I mean, if you look at it as an NA fan, this is the best NA has to send.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
That was awful.
Man.
Oh, man. Oh, well.
CLG needs to be the one to redeem NA once again. This time
Next
at Worlds.
Split. Yeah, we're going to go to Worlds.
But you know what? According to Monte Cristo, CLG is now and I quote, CLG is now the only NA team to ever win a best of series against a Korean team, and the only NA team to win a game off of SKT.
Oh, that feels good. That does feel good.
Yeah, so to everyone calling CLG's MSI round a fluke, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Monte Cristo has our back.
Alright.
Alright, so why don't we move on to CSGO, because holy crap, there was a lot of CSGO this week.
Alright. I mean, you're the CSGO guy. Just let's get right into it. Tell me what happened this week. There was a lot.
So there was a lot. We'll start off
against
as CSGO.Blue versus Cloud9 in the ECS Season 3 North America.
So first map was on Mirage.
Yeah, so they're up against one of the top CSGO teams in NA, Cloud9. Started out bad, going down 6-0 before they finally get their first win on round 7. Then they clawed 3 rounds back in a row, but by half, it ended up being 11-4. Not the best. Luckily, for the second round pistol, they win it, and then they clawed back up to 11-8 before they lose their next round. So that's 4 in a row. At match point, CLG does fight back hard with some great plays by the whole team, but in the end, Cloud9 takes map 1 16-13. So we move on to map 2, which is Cash, and oh man, this one started awful. The pistol round came down to a 3v1 for Cloud9. Kusta, out from Squeaky though, lands one headshot with his Glock, peeks back, finds another headshot. Like, just ridiculous. The casters were going crazy. As he comes out to sight, though, he lands his third headshot with a Glock, winning the round super clutch.
Somebody got Kusta.
Someone got Kusta indeed. From there, CLG did a pretty good job of holding the lead, taking it 8-7 by half. By round 25, it was 13-11 for CLG. Unfortunately, they had a couple of bad plays and not taking an eco round off Cloud9. So that means Cloud9 beat them when Cloud9 was ecoing. Taking it to 14-13 by round 28. CLG loses the next round, making it 15-13 match point for Cloud9. But win the next, hoping for a comeback. Unfortunately, nothing was patient in the final round and got a really good spray down to close out the game 16-14. So CLG ended up losing 0-2 to Cloud9. But again, Cloud9 is one of the best CSGO teams in NA right now. So it's not really... It sucks. It sucks because right now they're really playing up for points, and that sucked. Anyways, we'll move on to the ESL Pro League, where we played against Optic, who have our old daddy Hayes as their coach. Like, come on. What are you doing, Hayes, man? What are you doing?
Feels like a little bit of cheating here.
A little bit, you know? Anyways, map 1 for Mirage. Cutler started the pistol round with an amazing 3K on Catwalk. Unfortunately, CLG get crushed in round 2, even though Optic was ecoing. Again, that's another time where CLG loses in the same week off an eco round. From that point, it was very back and forth, ending 8-7 by half with Kusta defusing on the last round of half. Lots of amazing shots by the whole team, but Cutler and Ethan were really showing up in the first half. Optic wins the second pistol round, though. It goes rather even, 11-10 for CLG. Then Optic had a comeback, bringing it to 14-12. Optic gets up to match point, but CLG claws it back on round 30. They are in a half buy with lots of Tech 9 and armors. It was kind of ridiculous that they ended up getting this. But Cutler gets a blind spray and secures the defuse attempt and tie it up 15-15, so it's going to OT. With a bit of lack of adaptation, though, in OT, CLG loses the first round after investing super heavy into it. They bought completely. From here, Optic take control of the game and end up winning at 19-15. And that unfortunately means that CLG has to win the next map if they want to keep their ESL Pro League playoff dreams alive.
It's all right, man. This is the classic CLG heart attack moment where we come
classic
through, right?
CLG heart attack, right? Yeah. Map 2 was Cobble. Not CLG's favorite map, but it is one that they're pretty decent at. Unfortunately, Optic took the early lead 3-0, but CLG clawed it back, taking the next round, and then with great patience, Kusa gets them up to 3-2 and forces Optic into a full save. Round 11, though, CLG does a few odd smokes that allows Ethan to kind of wrap around B-site oddly and grabs a sweet 3K to put CLG up 7-4. By half, CLG was up 9-6. However, on the second round pistol, Naf got a ridiculous 4K with his 5-7 and Optic take it. Unfortunately, from that point on, Optic just turned on full blasters and the rest of the game and win at 16-11. Unfortunately for CLG, this means that they really had next to no chance to make it into the ESL playoffs. They were hoping on quite a few other teams to lose 0-2, and unfortunately that didn't happen. So the next up a couple days later was actually against SK Gaming. So remember how I said CLG's chances of getting off into the playoffs were very small, and they had to basically, their next up and their last game was against the number one team, SK Gaming. And at half, we're 11-4. What? Well, after half, SK fought back hard, winning 6 straight rounds, but after saving, Kusta said, "Hey, I want into the playoffs, so we gotta win." And with some amazing rounds, CLG beats SK 16-12 on Drain. This is looking good. They have to beat SK 2-0 in this and hope for a lot of upsets to happen at the same time. So map 2 was Mirage. Mirage is a lot closer of a map at half. However, CLG was up 9-6. Winning the second pistol round set them off to a good start, but when they get to match point 15-6, they seemed a bit shaky, and then they it was kind of as if they knew that something was just like it didn't matter. SK goes on to win 6 wins in a row, but CLG then closes it out finally 16-12. So to sum it up, CLG just 2-0'd the best team in the league. Unfortunately, by this time, it didn't matter, and CLG was statistically eliminated from the ESL playoffs. So it's better luck next time to the boys. They had a really good final run, especially 2-0ing SK. I mean, that's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it does suck, though, that despite all the stuff that happened for them throughout this season and all the changes that they made, they unfortunately couldn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. They were just out too. It was if they had won Optic, then they would have had a pretty good chance. All right, so we'll move on, and they played Optic again at the Subaru Invitation quarterfinals, but this time Optic didn't have Daddy Hazed. It's a best of 3, and map 1 was Cobble. This was a pretty tight map to start, especially being a very T-sided one. CLG split it with Optic 7-8. At half, and CLG was on the CT side to start. They go on to wipe the floor with Optic and take the game 16-11.
You know,
then we move on.
One thing I want to point out, I'm noticing a little trend here where teams are fighting us on Train. And this isn't working so well.
No, because map 2 was Train, and CLG dominated by half. It was 10-5. With a quick finish after half, CLG takes map 2 16-10.
I noticed the next game that they have is against Cloud9 in the semifinals. And map 1 is also on Train. Does this go our way too?
It is on Train.
Did I
Well, it's pretty close at half.
Did I jinx us?
C9 is up 9-6. And then up 10-8, Ethan gets an amazing clutch 1v2 to bring it back 10-9 for Cloud9. It stays pretty close at that point, but you did kind of jinx it. Unfortunately, CLG made a couple of bad choices and lost the round 15-14. And C9 ended up taking it. Game 1, 16-14.
Alright, what about map 2?
Well, map 2 was Inferno, and CLG's still looking a little bit shaky there. By half, they were down 11-4. But it is a rather T-sided map again. They do a good comeback, but it just isn't enough to take down one of the top dogs of Cloud9, and Cloud9 ends up taking it 16-11. So it was a good comeback, 8-round comeback, but They couldn't do it. Unfortunately, that means GG for CLG. They are out, but they made it to the semis in the Subaru Invitational, which is, I believe, a brand new tournament.
I've never heard of it.
Subaru. This is Subaru's first kind of foray into the esports, so it's kind of great to see, a couple of bigger companies, especially one like Subaru, where I'm pretty sure half of the CLG crew are driving Subaru vehicles. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so we'll move on to the PGL minor closed qualifier.
It's been a pretty sad set of results for the week. Just not being able to qualify for 2 major events. Does this one go any better?
So this is a minor qualifier, so it's not a major, but it is a minor, which is 4 tournament points. So this one was a bit of a surprise. I had no idea what was going on, and apparently neither did Sleepy Dude, who's one of the CLG subreddit moderators, and he does a lot of the CSGO stuff. And so it just kind of popped up, and we're like, oh, wow, okay. So CLG needed 3 wins to qualify for this minor. Game 1 was against the team Guerrilla Tactics, and it was on Mirage. And, well, we crushed them. It was 16-5 for CLG, so it wasn't even close. Game 1 won. Game 2 was against the Miami Flamingos. Again, on Mirage. This is a good name. I liked Guerrilla Tactics, too. This is a bit closer than Guerrilla Tactics, but we did stomp Miami Flamingos 16-9.
And then Game 3 is on Misfits.
2-0 for us. Yeah, and Game 3 is on against Misfits, who had a substitute player on their team, so they weren't at full. But it was a really close match, but Misfits did end up taking it and squeaked by CLG to win it 16-13. So our 4th game was against Bushido Boys, and it was on Cash. This was a must-win for CLG. They needed to get the 3 wins to move on, or to qualify for this closed minor. So this was a classic CLG heart attack moment.
Of course.
We're trying to qualify for something, and of course we get a free kick. We need a CLG heart attack moment. Why not, right? So the Bushido Boys ended up taking us to OT when paper, we should have stomped them. Yeah, so, CLG overtime, got to win 4 in a row or 4 games, kind of heart attack moment. So we needed to win for the qualifier, and oh, baby, we got it. CLG took OT 19-17, giving everyone the heart attack they needed before they went to bed. So that means CLG qualified for the PGL America's Minor. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with that, I guess we can move on to Smash.
Yeah.
So I do want to congratulate the COG team for CSGO team for all that they've done for this particular season to improve and all the changes that they've made. I mean, it's been tough with all of the roster swaps.
It has been. Bringing in Ricky was an amazing thing we could have done, and seemed to have completely turned the boys around. It was just that one guy tossing him in to the foray. He seems to mesh so well with the rest of them that it's been fantastic to watch them climb back.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to get a little bit more information about what the thought process was for finding Ricky and how they went about it, I actually recommend looking at the official CLG podcast that they have up. And the episode 1, they talk about Ricky and what the process was for finding him.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys should definitely check them out, because that is a very informative podcast. They do a lot of really in-depth to the organization talking, it's really interesting to see how an esports organization really has their thought processes going.
Yeah. Sorry about that tangent. I just felt like I had to bring it up.
So why don't we bring us on to Smash, and why don't you tell us how SFAT did?
Well, there's not much to say, unfortunately. He starts off in Pool A1, and he 3-0s the bracket. So, we're going in. SFAT's feeling good. But unfortunately, he loses to Cactar on a very clean sweep. He tries 2 games of Fox versus Fox, and when those don't work out, he switches it up to Falco for the last match, but he still loses against Cactar's Fox. So he ends up placing 17th this tournament in a surprise for everyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was a very disappointing end to SFAT's participation at the Royal Flush in Atlantic City. But you know what? He's still a quality player, and I know he's going to bounce back.
Absolutely. It's SFAT. Sometimes, he just kind of goes in and he just has an off day, and that's all it takes in Smash, because you play a lot of games in Smash in one day. Mm-hmm. And if you just kind of tilting a little bit or whatever you're doing that day, that's all it takes. It's just 2 bad games.
Mm-hmm. But
all right,
thankfully,
so why don't you move on to Void in Melee, not Melee, in Smash 4.
Yeah.
How'd Void do?
Yeah, thankfully, Void was also there to help represent CLG, and he starts off in bracket F6, and of course, like the usual CLG boys, he tops it 3-0. From there, he faces off against Mr. E's Lucina in the winner's bracket, and he has a solid 3-0 performance. From there, he moves on to face Mr. R. Mr. R, Mr. E.
He beats Mr. E, and then he goes up against Mr. R.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he does drop this 3-0 in the Sheik versus Sheik matchup. In the loser's bracket, he faces off against Icy Mist, and, you were telling me you were watching that live. Do you just want to tell me what you thought during that?
Yeah, so this was a pretty crazy game. Icy Mist was, when I popped in, it looked like she was just dominating Void. Like, it was kind of ridiculous.
He drops the first game against him.
Yeah, Void did drop the first game against Icy Mist, and then ends up just reverse sweeping. Like, it was crazy. It almost seemed as if Icy Mist was just like, what? Mm-hmm. And in typical Void fashion with Sheik, I'll see if I can find the VOD of it. Void bounces Icy Mist thanks to the Animal Crossing platform that crosses across, that kind of slides across the map, the top of the map. Mm-hmm. Void bounces him, he bounces Icy Mist from like the edge of the map and kicks him off screen. Like, he gets an off map kill by bouncing Icy Mist off. It's ridiculous. It was quite the watch. Void comes back and he basically has 5% damage.
It's crazy because he does win. Yeah, like I said, he does drop the first map, and then he wins the rematch on that same map, and then proceeds to take the next 2. From there, he moves on against. I know I'm going to say this wrong. Is it Nero? I can never get the names. Nairo. I never get the names right.
Yeah.
Sorry. But
it's all right.
There, he does trade maps against his Lucina, but ultimately he's able to pick up the win 3-2. It was cutting a little close for a while, but victory is a victory, and he moves up against the final set in the loser's bracket against Supergirl Kells. Although he drops the first game against the Sonic player on Smashville, he again is able to close it out with a solid 3-1 victory. From that, he does advance to the final single bracket, and he faces against Tweak. Now, Tweak uses a variety of characters, which includes Rosalina, Bayonetta, and Donkey Kong. Now, you usually think that people are like, okay, 1, maybe 2. Now, this guy used 3. And,
jeez. Yeah,
Void's able to pick up a win against the Rosalina, but then he loses a game to the Bayonetta. And he learns from this loss, and he faces her again. This time, he does pick up a revenge win. But then he's unable to beat the Donkey Kong, and unfortunately, he's out of the tournament at that point. But the good news is that he makes a top 4 finish at the Royal Flush in Atlantic City.
Wow, yeah, and Tweak played Donkey Kong. That's one I haven't actually seen. Was it Diddy Kong or Donkey Kong? Is it small or big? I don't know.
Now I'm questioning what I just... I can't remember. I can't remember.
It's all right. So while you look that up, sometimes, especially with the Melee boys like SFAT and Pew Pew U, they kind of are some of the biggest names in Smash, and sometimes we kind of feel that Void is, especially Void and Natcat, are kind of overshadowed by them. Mm-hmm. So it really feels good to have these guys really showing that they consistently finish in the top 8, which is some of the best players in Smash. So it's really good to show that, it doesn't matter. CLG coming into Smash, one of those 2 guys, they're going to show up.
Damn right. And I did check, and it is Donkey Kong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. That's probably what threw him off. Donkey Kong would not be a pick that most people are prepared for. Oh, man.
I know. I was looking up the thing. I was like, wait a minute. There's no way this is right. And then you made me second guess by saying it.
All right. So I guess that's pretty much our show for the week. That is all CLG news.
Mm-hmm. Now what?
So
actually, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna close us out. We're still looking for some pretty sweet quotes to do as an intro or an outro for the show. So if you guys know of anything like, Kobe's "and the faithful shall be rewarded" quotes that you can find for us, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And if you have an opinion that you want heard on air, or you just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us at clgfaithful@gmail.com or tweet to us at clgfaithful. And we love feedback, so please don't be shy.
Please don't be shy. And if you want to be a guest on the podcast, please send us a message. If we can work with your schedule or anything like that, we would love to have you on the show. If you're a big CLG fan, even just for a couple of minutes, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, you can message us at clgfaithful@gmail.com. You can tweet to us at clgfaithful. Thanks for the support, everyone. So please do, like, subscribe, follow us, the usual jazz.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great night. This has been Artrin.
And this is Nefarious, and we're signing off.
Peace.